Hey, strong people, Kalle Beck here, bringing you another Strong Talk podcast this week. We honored to have the great guest Jerry Pritchett on the show. He's a few weeks out from the Arnold, and we talk about his training and how he started in powerlifting and advancing without his pro card, finally getting his advancing to World's Strongest Man in other contests, not going the traditional route, well, at least at the time, getting his pro card, what's coming up, and the World Deadlift Championships, and talk a lot about his deadlift training because he's arguably one of the best deadlifters in the world, and the best deadlifter in America, first American to deadlift 1,000 pounds in a contest. So, yeah, Jerry has a lot to share with that. Some starting strongman news. We have grip shirts are back in stock, store.startingstrongman.com. Have all of those. We did a small batch of less than 30 shirts about in, I think, November, about a year ago. And there were some things and weren't able to get any made for a while. And now we have them back with the signature SS Starting Strongman logo on the front. Very limited quantities, just put in the order, and only going to get about 25 made for right now. See if anyone likes it. So it's limited supply. Check them out. They have a little silicone, or they're not silicone, but they have little beads all over the front of the shirt, back of the shirt, and inside and outside of the shirt. And they make it a lot easier to do log cleans, stones, etc. They've been used. They were used at big contests like some Giants Live contests, and you can see Zydrunas Savickas used them, Hafthor Bjornsson used them, and they continue to use them in their training videos. So they work. How often do you see someone like that training in one of their contest shirts that they got? And you see them anytime they're going for a heavy log, that's what they're using because they work. So go to store.startingstrongman.com, pick those up. Also, Jerry Pritchett is sponsored by SBD USA and Ken Anderson. And, of course, we have the full line of SBD products now at store.startingstrongman.com, belts, knee sleeves, etc. So if you need any SBD gear, go check it out on our store. Check out our sponsors, startingstrongman.com/sponsors. Use our Amazon link. Doing any shopping at all through Amazon, just instead of going straight to Amazon, go to amazon.startingstrongman.com. Get a couple pennies on the dollar, and it helps out. Helps everything out. Helps grow. Helps me keep Mike around, investing in more equipment for this podcast, etc. Really appreciate everyone's support. Going into month 3 of the group training, the Starting Strongman training templates, you can go to strongmanprogram.com to pick those up. And it's if you use the code StrongTalk, it'll save you $5 a month on the subscription. So check that out as well. Follow Jerry Pritchett at Jerry Pritchett Strongman on Instagram and Jerry Pritchett on Facebook. And yeah, I think the Arnold is going to be on flowelite.com again. So go over to Flow Elite and watch the live stream. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the Arnold this year. And next week's episode, me and Mr. Mike Battolino are going to break down the Arnold and some goings on in Strongman. Oh, also in this interview, we talk about that the Botswana Tourism Board said that World's Strongest Man was coming back in May. Since that, Colin Bryce has said that is not the correct date and it's fake. So, whoops. So I guess that's not happening. So just we'll keep you up to date if we hear anything else or rumors on when World's Strongest Man is going to happen. But we know, or we're pretty sure it's going to be earlier in the year compared to last year, probably June or so, something like that. So here we go. Enjoy this interview with best deadlifter in America or the world, Jerry Pritchett. Welcome to Strong Talk Podcast. I am Kalle Beck, joined by Jerry Pritchett. Jerry, I know you're busy today and you're headed to the gym. What are you training today?
Today's kind of upper body, shoulders, chest, tricep, bicep.
So it's
kind of
not one of the
kind of basic, bodybuilding type, movements, just regular work.
Yeah, just getting the work in a little bit lighter of a day.
Yeah.
Not one of the days where you're, deadlifting over 900 pounds just about every week.
It was yesterday.
That was yesterday. You
Yeah.
start the week off, so that'd be on a Monday. So you got to start the week off right with some deadlifts.
That's right. Yeah, set it off right.
And also to get right into stuff. I've been traveling around, so I'm not too sure. I might be. Did you just officially get added to the Arnold as a competitor, or am I off on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw you were added to the roster, but there were still 11 people, which was interesting.
Yeah, there's 11 of us, but yeah, I'm officially part of it now, so looking forward to it.
Well, congratulations. Were you already kind of training like you were going to compete anyways, kind of expecting it, or did it come as a surprise? Or
Yeah, no, my focus has been the Arnold. That spot would happen. So everything since back in December has been ramped for Columbus.
Yeah, it's always there's I think something that the listeners don't understand is with a pro strongman is like, even if you don't have, if you're like next in line or right there on the call list, you usually get called up to do one of those shows. And as you've been accustomed to it, it's not as much of a surprise when you actually do get that call on late notice.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to go. Yeah, so let's go back a little bit and talk about like when you actually found out about the sport of strongman and had your first experience with it.
Oh yeah, I did my first strongman show in 2008, just a local show here, and then just kind of progressed from there. Went to Worlds first time in 2012, and the Worlds 4 times, final twice. This will be my 5th trip to the Arnold, for the Arnold in Columbus, and yeah, it's just kind of evolved over the years and kept pushing, getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah, and when you were getting up into that like top amateur rank, I know you were going for your pro card a couple times. I think was there a show in California where you like just missed out on it by like a point or two?
Yeah, the Dallas Europa.
That's what it was.
I missed out. Crusoe and I went in, I think, tied last event, and he got me on stones, so I missed out on it there. I think that was 2010 in Dallas. And then, just, the way it worked out for me. It really wasn't by design. It's the way it worked out. I started doing, the Fit Expos and qualified for the Arnolds, and then won that Vegas show that was a Giants Live qualifier. Then went to Giants Live and qualified for Worlds. And it's just the way it worked out for me,
Yeah, you pick shows, and the ones that you actually, it just happens to be, the ones you won or did well at, they lead you to the next level, and there's once you're there, there's no reason to go backwards from it.
Yeah, it's just the way it worked out. I am excited for the opportunity this year to compete at America's Strongest Man. That'll be, something looking forward to.
Yeah, because of course by your performance at the Cavs Classic, you officially got your pro card with ASC or Strongman Corporation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be good to see you at America's Strongest Man. What was it like? Was that the first time that you competed overseas when you did that? I think it was like a Giants Live Britain, and I think that's the one you did.
The first Giants Live I went to was 2012 in Poland.
Okay, you went to Poland.
And then I think the second one I went to was in 13. Was part of Britain's Strongest Man, where I was second to Laws.
I feel like that's the show where most people were, kind of took notice. Like, okay, you're like right behind Laws. You deadlifted 970 something pounds, I believe, at that. And
I pulled 953. Yeah, full 953. Just missed. I probably had a shot at the 970 that day, but my belt broke. Actually cracked on the 920, and when I went to pop it on the 953, the one link was broke on the lever, and after I stepped away from the 953, it fell off. So, time, we got another belt and everything. There was a lot of downtime, and it was just too much downtime for the next to go for another attempt. But yeah, it was a great show. Laws he's a great strongman, so it was a fun push. And we did push in, Terry Hollins was right there too. Terry Hollins was third. And that was a cool show. All the shows in the UK, they're just kind of a different deal over there versus what it is in the States.
Yeah, it seems like where there's a lot of people that compete in strongman. I just got back from an amateur contest, and there's 60 competitors there, etc. There's more people that compete in it here, but people actually, the fans there, they treat it like as a spectator sport more so. They see it that way, where I think a lot of people in the stands don't necessarily do strongman, but they enjoy following it.
It's a mainstream sport to them over there. It's on TV all the time. They don't have all the stick and ball sports for one that we have, and but just being on TV all the time, everybody watches. So even if they're not really, hardcore, strongman or really know somebody, they've at least watched it enough to know something about it. It's kind of like football here. Even if they're not a big football fan, they at least they've seen a football game. They know something about football. It's the way it is over there. They know about strongman. Versus here. You just normal people, they go, they might have caught a little bit of it on ESPN at one point, years ago, and kind of get, you pull trucks or you do those big round things, that's kind of what you get here.
Yeah, I think it's on, what is it, like Channel 5, which is basically like CBS or NBC here, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's one of their big networks over there. Then now they've got a new one over there, that Dave TV, that's picked up a lot of the Ultimate Strongman stuff, so it's growing even more too. So
yeah, it's really exploding, and I find it interesting because Eddie Hall over there is reaching this legendary status, because I went on Instagram Live. I was at a local show and I was just showing something real quick, and it was two girls doing moss wrestling over to settle a tiebreaker, right? And then every comment from the people on the Stern Strongman Instagram was, Eddie Hall's the best, Eddie Hall's this, these random people, they wanted to let me know. It was just, I found it really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It was just
they
fandom.
they love Eddie. Yeah. Eddie's a king over there right now. They love him.
Yeah.
And Eddie's a great character for that too, so he's just a likable guy anyways, and he came from, as a heavy equipment mechanic, so he's kind of had that, regular working man's job, and now he's, having success as strongman, so, and now with that documentary hitting around and hitting Netflix, it's gaining even more, which is all just good for the sport.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's kind of a perfect storm with it all, too. Then it's just all happening right times, and you kind of need, figures like that when given the opportunity to kind of push a sport. You see what's happening in the UFC, with Conor McGregor. It's they transcend everything, and then they, hopefully bring everyone else up with them, to that next level.
Yeah, it just brings the whole sport along, so it's good for everybody.
Yeah, so I want to talk a bit about. So also. Had a comment on your lever belt breaking. That's not a problem anymore with all the nice SBD equipment, right?
Oh no, that was an old Inzer belt.
Yeah.
I lost two Inzer buckles years ago. One in Poland and then one in Britain that time. And especially the SBD stuff, they're a great machine piece. Plus they're just a larger buckle anyways. There's just more meat on them.
Yeah, it's
than the old Inzer levers,
Yeah, which is those have even been used by how many thousands of people to do big lifts, but it's a whole nother thing once you start approaching these 900 plus deadlifts, I can't even imagine what the pressure you're putting out on a belt with exerting that kind of force and to move that kind of weight.
Yeah, there's a ton of pressure, and then some of those castings, if they aren't really well poured, especially for what we do with strongman. I know the one I broke in Poland, I hit it with the log coming up. The log smacked it and it fractured it.
Okay.
Not hard, but just enough to get it. And then there's not, some of those ones they're not designed for like an impact like that. But for what we do it is what it is. It's it's going to happen. So you got to have that big beefy buckle to hold up for all that.
Sure. So, talking about deadlifts, I'd say it's hard to argue you're not the the top 2 deadlifters in the world, best in America. It's Shaw's right up there too, but you're the first man to deadlift 1,000 pounds, and I was talking to Dimitar at the Kaz and everything, and every time you see I end up seeing like a competitor's deadlift shoots up, they go, oh yeah, Jerry's been helping me. So what is your secret? Or obviously there's no secrets, but what's your approach on this lift that you think other people are missing that helps you progress and help all these other already some of the best in the world people progress on the deadlift?
One of the biggest things I tell guys for deadlift and what we, the guys in the gym and like Dimitar, there's obviously some certain things we do as far as, the workout itself and that. But if there's an approach to it, and you kind of got to forget about what you think of deadlift, and if you really can, fully grasp the thought of, instead of thinking of deadlift as a pull, because a pull, a lot of times they put you yank on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of a pull, it's a push. You're pushing that thing off the floor. And if you really can grasp that theory of pushing it off the floor, it'll change your approach on how you set up and how you start your attempt. And then there's other things we do too, as far as moving out your stance and grabbing the bar a little wider and be able to use more of your legs and hips. And then the snatch grip deadlifts and some of the accessory stuff are all things that help build that as well. And then as far as on training, you can't wear yourself out, working up and hitting 600 for 5 and 700 for 5 and 800 for 3, and then still expect that you're going to pull 900 plus deadlift. You got to get to the top end fast, hit that 90% range, and then go back down and do your work.
Gotcha.
And that way you can bang those big numbers every week.
So,
but you're not going to do it if you do all that work before you get there.
Sure. Yeah, especially on a lift like the deadlift, which is so taxing. You only have so many heavy attempts.
And then it'll give you more confidence because you're pulling heavy every week. You're used to handling heavy weight, or at least that 90% range. And then all that just together, brings the deadlift up. Like Dimitar's went up a ton in the last less than a year.
Yeah.
And same thing with guys in the gym.
Yeah. So you're lifting, up close to that 90% of your max, pretty much every week, is from what I've gathered as well. Right?
Yeah, I pull at least a high 8, at least a 900 every week, if not something more like 9.5 range.
Sure.
And that's doing that beat up a day after I do event day on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
that's a whole different thing.
If I can do it beat up and so it's a 90% of what I'm doing beat up, basically. So when everything's healed and on competition day, we require to exceed that.
Yeah, especially and that makes it very applicable to strongman, because usually it's the deadlifts you might at World's Strongest Man this last year at the finals, it was after how many days the athletes have already been competing. It was I believe like the fourth event or so, So, that's not ideal condition. So, and also if you're saying you're taking like bigger jumps, I think as good as anyone that there's warm-ups are almost non-existent at contests a lot of the time. So you're almost
so you might as well get used to getting in those big numbers. So one thing I use in training for a little extra warm-up before you hit the floor, and it's a little bit of work, is we start with rack deads, and we don't kill ourselves on rack deads. We work up to at least like that 70% range, and it's a good warm-up kind of before you get to the floor, and it's a little bit of work. And then that way we get to the floor, basically I'm pulling singles, throwing plates at it up until that top range, and then go back down and do work. And then after that, then we pull it down, and then we go back up again doing snatch grip deadlifts. So it's all said and done, it's a lot of volume, but we get the heavy part over with quick.
Sure. And when you say you're doing snatch grip deadlifts, you're doing those with the plates off the floor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, putting yourself in a big deficit, and that really helps build up the back.
Yeah, so by default, you're pulling at a deficit, and then you really have to, especially if you're pulling them heavy, you have to stay in position with your low back in and hips in, or you're going to hurt yourself. So it really, really teaches you to really get that first blast with the quads and push that thing off the floor.
Awesome.
And by having your low back rolled in, keeps the hips rocked in, and it allows you to really push that thing and spot that thing off the floor.
And I know you have a good variety of people that training partners and people at the gym. Have you seen the same approach work with someone who's not at such a maximal level of strength? Not people they might be doing less overall volume. Maybe they're trying to get from like 500 to 600 or so. Do you have
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at just Easton Taylor. Easton Taylor's went up a ton in the last year and a half since we revamped his deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
And he started with a back injury because he pulled with such horrible form for so many years. He hurt his back really bad.
Yeah.
And then so he had to kind of come back from that, and then revamped it to now he's he took an event that was really like a zero for him almost at a show where he can pretty much hold his own and if not push the top guys maybe.
Yeah, and I know Easton. I've known him for years, and it was always he's great strongman, phenomenal press, everything, but then just always.
Yeah, he's a great presser. He's great at moving events and all that. The deadlift was always a hole for him.
Sure. So
it's brought it up where now he can fill that hole, and then now he's a big threat on the overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can take someone who's been struggling with an event for years and change it, that's you don't need much more of a testimonial than that. It's easy if someone's just brand new to something. You can throw anything at them for a bit and it's going to work. But taking it,
they're going to go up no matter what.
Exactly.
Even doing it wrong, they're going to go up. Yeah.
Yeah, to a point. Keeping on talking about deadlifts. At this past year at the Arnold, you're going up there. You're one of the most intense competitors out there. If you're just watching, you get really in the zone. And I was filming some stuff for Flow Elite and we're like you're sitting in the chair at the main stage when they had the elephant bar deadlift, and you're getting ready to pull 1,000 pounds. What's going through your head? What's your thought process to get in that moment and set yourself up for success?
Really just some of the basic stuff of setup and technique that you already run through your mind a million times before you're there anyways, and just keeping yourself motivated, and just kind of zoning out from all the other BS that's going on around you, and just focus on what you got to do, and then because you got to have that confidence. You walk up to that you're gonna pull that weight or whatever the event is. If there's any doubt in your mind, it's not going to happen. So you have to block out everything around you and just focus, keep yourself motivated to go crush that lift.
Yeah, it seems like it's very rare than you can kind of you can kind of tell like if a competitor is going to get a lift or not, how they approach the bar or
you
the
see how they
implement.
approach it. I mean, you can look a lot of times in the guy's eyes to see if he's going to get that weight or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he's got that nervous look in his eye, he's probably not going to get it.
Yeah, they might even hype themselves up extra, just to try to.
Yeah,
like,
If it's like a lot of extra hype and bar yanking and all that crap, then it's just more of a show at that point, you know.
Sure, it's like you're almost trying to convince yourself. Sometimes.
Yeah, you're trying to talk yourself into it.
So how did it? So you go up, you approach, the 1,000+ pound deadlift. It goes up, you get the down, you set it down. How was that feeling? You're the first American to pull 1,000 pounds from standard height.
Oh yeah, it was great. That was 1,000 pounds deadlift is one that I've been chasing for a long time. I'd hoped to have done it the year before that, but I tore my quad tendon in Malaysia in 15, and so that really set back my deadlift, going into deadlift championships in 15. So yeah, breaking that 1,000 pounds was a long time coming. So that was, and it was kind of one of those marks. Like once you get it over with, then it's like, okay, now we can move on.
Yeah, and it's interesting with that because 1,000 pounds was just a short. We're talking. This is less than a year ago. Was this mythical number can and then we saw 3 or 4 people hit it or like in one contest, and then now it's like it seems like people are almost let down that like when Shaw and Eddie tied with like 984 at Worlds, they're like they didn't even go for over 1,000. Like now it's like people are almost treating it like it's the standard now, where it was like unachievable.
Yeah.
For
Well,
so long.
every time somebody raises the bar, then that's what everybody kind of expects to see. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I know. I saw some of the comments from the Worlds, about why those guys didn't try to go for more and try to break the tie. And, I didn't realize how beat up those guys are at that point. And at some point, you know when to just call it and not tear yourself up.
Yeah, when it's not worth an extra half a point.
Yeah.
So
overall, it really wasn't going to affect their placings probably. So so it wasn't worth risking the injury, beat up at that point to go after it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Going from there, we go into the World Deadlift Championships, where everyone was then talking about 1,100, and it was. Were you? And I think your attempt on that gets overlooked. Obviously you had the hamstring injury in it, but it came up off the ground real quick. What going into that contest, was all your focus on pulling, the 500 kilos?
Honestly, I didn't know if the 500 would happen or not. The way I had my deadlift dialed in, I knew I'd be good for like 1050.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they changed it where, the attempts were set. And, there was going to be from the 1025 to the 11. And, the way 1025 went, well, we'll go after it, whether I'd have got it or not, I don't know. I think, you don't know, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have torn the hamstring if I wouldn't have had the 40-minute wait that I had before I got to attempt 1,100. That's what a lot of people missed on, watching that afterwards is I got left there for about 40 minutes. By the time, I pulled the 1025 where they did everything, for Eddie to go, then all that, stuff after he pulled it that they drug out, there's at least about 40 minutes that I sat there and cooled down before I got to go. So as soon as that thing, started to come off the ground and really, where you start to really engage, the hamstring just went, right away. And, you can't go, up, pull that kind of max effort and be nice and warm and then cool back down and then try to go get another max effort out of it without something given,
No, absolutely
so
not.
Whether the 11 would have happened or not, I don't know. But it would have been at least a closer attempt than that, and I don't think that I would have torn the hamstring the way I did.
Yeah, it was interesting watching it live because there was, three of you all going to go for it. Eddie goes first. Eddie gets it, and then it was like the contest was over, and then people
Yeah,
had to be reminded.
There's like a big awards ceremony afterwards. Then Benny and I were left to sit and wait for all that BS to get over with.
Yeah,
and so whatever, it is what it is now. But it was just shit to get the setback of the hamstring.
Sure, but yeah, all healed up from there, and then it's unfortunate because then you skipped Worlds as well, because that was
Worlds was a month later.
Yeah, exactly.
And not going in 100%. I've been enough times now. It's not worth it to me just to go. If I go, I want to be competitive to run up front. So it wasn't worth going to risk re-tearing it, because I got lucky in the fact it was a grade 3 tear, but it didn't fully separate. It didn't, so I didn't have to, didn't have a surgery to have it pull it back together. So I didn't want to. I had to take it easy for a little bit, so it healed back properly without, having to have surgery. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It worked out like that. But I feel like people don't understand when they see Worlds and they see you're missing because they watch it, 3-6 months later. Then they don't go back and look that the contest actually took place, so close to another one.
Yeah.
It gets lost, especially since Worlds.
Yeah.
Worlds happens to be like the one contest that people will actually watch, especially in America on television. So it's all they focus on. They don't really look at the whole year as like a series and events. But I was looking last night. I don't know if you're getting ready for Worlds or anything again this year later, but on the Botswana Tourism on their website, they have the dates up for when it's going to be, which in like
I just somebody just sent me that earlier. I just saw that.
Yeah, because I just posted it up on the Starting Strongman website because someone sent it to me like on the Botswana Tourism website, and it says May, which it's just interesting. It's pretty soon. Yeah, it's May 6th.
Yeah, I heard a rumor here a few weeks ago that was maybe going to be May. Mm-hmm. But it was but that wasn't from anybody associated with Worlds or anything like that. That was from actually another promoter in the UK. Okay. So there's so many rumors about Worlds. I didn't really take it as much. But it should be interesting because if those dates are correct, that weekend that the qualifiers are starting is the same weekend as the Arnold in Johannesburg.
Oh, is it?
And if that's the case, the 6th, that Saturday, is Johannesburg. So if that's the case, you could see a repeat of last year where not everybody's at Worlds.
Right, where they were all at, the Arnold Asia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting to see. Unfortunate for the fans, but I think, Strongman, it seems to be in a good place overall for the athletes with all these options.
Yeah, it's great for all the athletes, especially with what the Arnold series has done by starting that Arnold Pro series, and they're all great shows, they're all really well paying shows. And so it just to have another circuit like that is just great for all the athletes.
Do you think it's kind of headed a way where it's kind of like where the IFSA World's Strongest Man days where we're going to see people picking sides a little bit here or there?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a big separation between guys that do Worlds and guys that do the Arnold.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying as well. So, you're getting ready for the Arnold. What's how's training been going in general for it? Obviously, I don't want to go give too much away, but you're
it's been going really well at the moment. I'm beat to hell, but it's to be expected for everything, all the heavy training I've been doing. So, but it's just normal beat up, So everything's going really well right now. We got kind of a different event we got thrown at us a few weeks ago, so kind of a new one for the Arnold. So that sandbag throw. So that should be, you know, kind of an interesting one.
Is that for max height, or how's that working?
No, it's gonna be just one height, which the height's gonna be 15 foot, but it's gonna go up in weight. It starts at 65 pounds, and it's gonna go up from there.
Okay. So that's really going to mix things up then, with a little bit of a dynamic event thrown in, into the mix, where, you know, that the Arnold's so classically static for the most part.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I guess it's a good opportunity for Rogue to showcase their new strongman sandbags. It's probably
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime you can, you know, they're putting up big. I believe they put up, you know, a decent amount of money for that show, so, you know, they can promote some products out there. It works out well for them.
Yeah, they do a lot for that show. You know, as far as even just the equipment they do. You know, I mean, they had a ton of time and money just in that whole elephant bar setup, between the plates and the bars and all that. So that, and Rogue, they invest a lot in that show.
Yeah, I think you know. I did you know, I was talking to some people at the local show I was at this weekend, and they're like, oh, you know, Rogue tries to call them a strongman company. I'm like, they're one of the biggest supporters of strongman going right now. So you can't just you know, put them in with CrossFit and try to hate on them. They're giving back to the sport.
Yeah, no, Rogue's been really good with strongman the last several years.
Just about as good as everyone. So. You were saying, like, how your path went with strongman is you ended up doing, you know, like the Fit Expo before it was associated with you know, Strongman Corporation, etc. Just happenstance you went to where the opportunities are. You know, other, you know, someone who's trying to make that same leap from being like a top amateur to a pro. Do you have any insight on, you know, I feel like sometimes people feel like there's only like one cut path when there's if you look at it, there's all these different options, especially
yeah, there's options out there. They just gotta, you know, they gotta keep their eyes open to them, and they can't be afraid to go after them. You know,
sure.
You know, a lot of guys get, you know, oh, I don't like those events, so I'm not gonna do that show. Or, you know, if this is what you want to do, you can't worry about all the events suiting you. You got to just go after wherever the opportunity is.
Yeah, especially because once you do get to that pro level, it seems like the higher up you go, the less control or notice you're going to have of what you actually have to do anyways.
That's true to an extent.
Yeah, maybe not the same for everyone. That's what you're hinting at.
Yeah. There's changes that are made.
Sure. Yeah, there's always different little changes, but yeah, it's what would be your main advice for, you know, anyone? Let's say not at like that high level, but, you know, at the more novice or entry level of the sport. You know, with a lot of you know, the listeners and readers of the website that's kind of fall into that category. What's your main advice for you know, someone that just wants to get into the sport at all and start, you know, hopefully at one point progressing to that next level?
The biggest thing, you know, obviously, if you find a good group, a good crew to train with is a big plus. You know, if you find some guys that have some experience to learn from. Other than that, just you got to be, you know, patient at it too. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, and if you try to push it too hard too soon, you're just going to get yourself hurt. And so you got to be, you know, patient. And my advice is don't just, if you're just starting out, don't just get caught up in really just doing strongman. Go do some powerlifting too. You know, they're both strength athletics. They'll play off each other. You know, the static strength you'll build, just, you know, get ready for powerlifting is a big carryover to strongman. So go do both. You know, it's all strength athletics. Go, you know, you're going to learn something and get stronger along the way. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just you need to get strong. Period.
Yeah.
And you competed in power. How long did you actually compete in powerlifting before you switched over to strongman?
I started powerlifting in '96 when I was 15, and then started strongman in 2008. I went to the Junior Olympics as a teenager, won a gold medal 3 times, and a lot of world championships and world records along the way with other federations. But yeah, it's, going in, that's one of my, being my background. So I tell guys, the static strength you'll build in powerlifting is huge to fall into strongman. Plus, just learning like the deadlift properly, and a lot of these new guys, they right away they learn the deadlift building a hitch into their deadlift. Well, they never get any stronger. The lockout's always shit. Because they always go back to that hitch. Because they're never getting stronger. And, if you learn the lifts wrong, it's really hard to ever correct that. Well, and really to get really get strong and efficient in that lift.
Yeah. Plus, you're just being held to a higher standard for the movement in powerlifting. So that's going to get ingrained to you to lift to that standard. That's an interesting way to look at it. Also, I want to touch on. I know you're involved with SBD. How did that all start, and how helpful has that been since you've built that relationship with SBD USA?
Oh yeah, it's been a huge help. So Ken Anderson with Anderson Powerlifting has helped me for years before anybody else would. And then in 2013, he became a dealer for SBD when nobody knew about SBD. Mm-hmm. So I was actually the first one to wear SBD at Worlds in 2013. And I had guys like Mark Felix that are, from Britain or live in Britain. Where'd you get those at? I'm like, well, they make them in your country. They didn't know about them. Yeah. And it just kind of built from there to what the SBD is now. And between Ken representing, the U.S., started out with just Anderson was the dealer, and then he started SBD USA, and then, Ben Banks in England, growing SBD along the way. It just keeps evolving, and there's more good stuff to come out of them, There's more products they want to do. Right now they're just fighting the demand of filling what they already have out there,
Yeah, that's a good problem to have, and what I've liked is as you can see how much they're the company's giving back to all the different sports as well. They're every time even just every local show I see SBD USA as a sponsor on the back of it, and that's how it should be. So it's good to see.
Yeah, that's great for the sport.
But I know you're headed to the gym. I appreciate you taking time. Anything else you want to add today, Jerry, or I'll let you go?
Oh, I appreciate you having me on. I want to thank sponsors, ALR Industries and SBD USA and Anderson Powerlifting. Kid Anderson for helping me all the years he has. And appreciate those guys.
Awesome. And
thanks for having me on, and hopefully we'll see you at the Arnold here in a few weeks.
Yeah, good luck at the Arnold, and you can, if anyone isn't already, they can follow you on Instagram. I believe it's Jerry Pritchett Strongman, and just Jerry Pritchett on Facebook. And again, good luck at the Arnold, and hopefully talk soon.